And we are live. Hello and welcome everyone to Circuit Stream's October open house. Thank you all so much for being here. Today we'll be talking about current XR industry and Unity trends. We're going to be doing a deep dive into Circuit Stream's educational programs, and we're also going to be getting a first-hand account of what it takes to go from being an XR enthusiast to an XR design expert. I'm your host, Brendan, and shortly we'll be joined by our head of education, Jerry Medeiros, and our guest speaker, current Circuit Stream student, Kim Alban. Now, before we get into it, I wanted to do a quick audio video check. And actually, I'm going to fix something here as well. Quick audio video check. If you could let me know if you can see me, hear me in the comments, that would be greatly appreciated. Any luck here? Any luck? Yes, perfect. See and hear you. Awesome, awesome. Much appreciated. Also wanted to provide a quick overview of your layout here before we begin. So to the bottom right of your presentation screen, you'll notice a little bell icon. If any of the sounds from the chat or the questions box are distracting, are annoying to you, anything like that, go ahead and hit that bell icon and it will silence everything. As for the chat section, feel free to engage with our audience members. We have a few members of the team in the audience as well who would love to chat. And any questions throughout the duration of this open house, I would ask that you direct them to the questions tab. We will be doing a Q&A at the end of the session today, and we definitely want to keep tabs on what questions we have and have not answered and stay organized in that regard. Now, again, I'm your host, Brendan. I'm an enrollment advisor here at Circuit Stream. I come from a background in investment management and finance. Once I saw how exciting the XR industry was and where it was going, definitely had to make the switch and definitely have not looked back. Fun fact about me, I am a competitive rugby player. I've played about 16 seasons and I've never broken a bone playing that barbaric sport. Soon we'll be joined by Jerry Medeiros. Jerry is a senior VR developer, instructor, and the head of education here at Circuit Stream. He holds a bachelor's degree in games technology as well as master's degrees in computer science from both the Federal State University of Rio de Janeiro and Leibniz Hannover University in Germany. He also has over 10 years of experience in the 3D simulation, training, and gaming industries. Hello, everyone. Later, we'll be joined by Kim Alban. So Kim is a New York City-based product designer. She spent the past several years creating impactful products with companies of all different sizes. Kim's journey into XR began because of her interest in emerging mediums and passion for up-and-coming technology. She's also started a great YouTube channel that focuses on educating her viewers on principles of UX and UI design and showing you how to bring those concepts to AR and VR platforms. So definitely go check that out if you have a chance. Now, what's on the agenda for today? So I'd like to take the first 5 minutes to shed some more light on Circuit Stream, kind of our background, who we are. Then we'll take about 10 to 15 minutes to see where the XR industry is headed and what opportunities there are to get involved, as well as provide a brief overview of Unity's development engine. I'll then invite Jerry on stage to provide a thorough breakdown of our course offerings here at Circuit Stream, which should take about 20 to 30 minutes. And then to add further perspective to that, Kim will be taking 10 to 15 minutes to share with us not just her experience going through our course, but how she went from being an XR enthusiast to an XR expert. So before we conclude, we'll take 10 to 20 minutes to field any questions you have throughout the open house. And again, any questions that pop up, please direct them to the questions tab. Again, it's just going to help us keep tabs on those questions and make sure that we answer all of them. Lastly, as a reminder, this open house will be recorded and sent to all registrants. If you have to bow out early, or if you're joining us late but want to see what happened at the beginning, feel free to check out those replays. They will be sent shortly after we conclude. So who or what is Circuit Stream? So we were founded in 2015. We identified a gap in the demand for education relating to specifically AR and VR. Our goal has always been to share a foundation of knowledge on the best tools, processes, and workflows for Unity, as well as XR design and development. To date, we've helped over 40,000 learners develop these highly sought after technical skills. So what we have here at Circuit Stream is a global team of industry experts who are passionate about accelerating the AR and VR industry through education. We have team members and instructors all over the world, which also helps us accommodate students across multiple time zones and different geographies. Circuit Stream is also a Unity training and channel partner. So partners are approved based on their expertise, focus on quality education. and the demonstrated success of their students. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Unity, they have created one of the most extensive and robust development engines on the market, which we'll shed some more light on very, very shortly. Our instructors maintain the highest levels of certification offered by Unity. And speaking of certifications, I'm very excited to also share that CircuitStream is one of the few educators in this space offering XR industry-specific certifications, but we'll touch a little more on that later. Also exciting news to share, we've been partnering with some of the most well-recognized educational institutions in the world. Our XR development with Unity course is now even more accessible to students through our university partners. But who have we actually worked with in the past? Well, we've trained teams and professionals for some of the largest organizations in the world, such as VMware, Walmart, Hershey's, even the US Navy, just to name a few. We work with organizations large and small, right down to the individual learner. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the XR industry in general. If that last slide didn't give you a good idea of who's adopting this technology, here's an overview of the industries that are currently employing XR. So media and entertainment being the most obvious, starting to get into retail, architecture, military, and the list goes on. Organizations are adopting this tech to create efficiencies, to further innovate, and in use cases such as for the military, as well as the automotive and manufacturing industries, immersive tech is helping to greatly reduce risk. Now, this isn't just happening in certain areas or markets. We're seeing interest, and demand grow all over the world. It is exciting, Casey. Absolutely. But what does that growth look like overall as the overall industry? So PwC released a report back in 2019 maintaining that 23.5 million jobs worldwide will be using augmented and virtual reality by 2030 for training, collaboration, and to provide new digital experiences. In that same report, they also mentioned VR and AR have the potential to add $1.5 trillion to the global economy by 2030. Now, more recently, Business Wire released a report projecting that from now until 2027, the value of the XR industry is expected to have a compound annual growth rate of about 66% per year, which is substantial. So that's very impressive, but really, what does that mean for you and I? As you can see, there are a number of roles and titles that require XR experience, from developers and artists to project managers and quality assurance. And who knows, maybe your ideal role has yet to be invented. Also, for all you indie devs or artists, there's still a shortage of high quality content on XR marketplaces waiting for you to enter that arena. It also means that now is the best time to be expanding your skill set. Currently, XR experience is in high demand, and this is exacerbated by the fact that job growth for AR and VR is continuing at a rapid pace. There's even new roles and titles regularly being introduced to the job market specific to AR and VR. And take a look at what happens when you have specifically Unity skills in your repertoire. That's right, Burning Glass, a company that researches real-time job market analytics, found that on average, professionals with Unity skills are making around $20,000 more in salary than their counterparts who are unfamiliar with this tool. Now, what about Unity? What exactly is it? So if you've seen this interface before on your screen, then you likely already know. And if you've been through our C# scripting fundamentals course, you probably also recognize that muffin clicker game on display. But for those of you who aren't familiar, Unity is a free 3D development engine for building games, simulations, and experiences. It's also the easiest way to begin creating content for a multitude of devices and platforms, including AR and VR. Now, we know that Unity is used to create over 60% of the world's AR and VR content and is also responsible for an enormous share of the broader content and application markets. In fact, apps developed in Unity are downloaded about 3 billion times on a monthly basis. Yes, billion with a B. Their software is by and large borderless and can be used pretty much anywhere in the world, bringing a powerful creation tool to creators and innovators all over the globe. Now, this engine isn't powered by gas or coal. It's actually powered by ideas, your ideas. So using its tools, interface, and incredibly broad scope of functionality, you would build your idea out in Unity. Once you've created your application, you can then launch it on a multitude of devices using the relevant software developers kit, or SDK for short. Sounds simple, right? Pretty straightforward. Looks like there's only a couple steps up there. Well, for those of you who have yet to download the free version or really get in there and familiarize yourself with it, Unity has quite the learning curve. Now, they have tons of great educational resources on their site, and there's no shortage of YouTube videos and blogs to help you along the way. But if you're looking to rapidly upskill and learn best practices, then look no further than right here at CircuitStream. We recently launched our newest curriculum, the Introduction to Unity 3D Development 8-week course. The live instructor-led course focuses on Unity fundamentals and has students creating while they learn. By the end of the course, they will have created and launched a fully polished application. The next round of cohorts will launch on November 29th for anyone interested. Now, if you're looking for the best way to educate yourself for XR specifically, again, you came to the right place. Our course offerings include programs meant for beginners as well as intermediate or expert level designers and developers. From our structured flagship development and design courses to our one-on-one mentorship and project support packages, we at CircuitStream provide students and professionals with a pragmatic approach to education in a highly technical field, and we supplement that with accessible and ongoing support. At this time, I'll ask Jerry to please join me on stage to provide an overview of our course offerings here at CircuitStream. Jerry, are you with us?
Should be.
There he is. Hey, Jerry, how's it going?
I'm good. How about you? Hey, everyone. It's been a while since the last time I was here live.
Good. Well, yeah, thank you for joining us, and certainly excited to hear more about these curriculums or syllabi. So I'll let you take it away. I'll hop off here for a second, and then I will jump back on shortly.
All right. So yeah, thanks. That's what I was like asking you too. So David asked, "How's Brazil? Brazil is good. It's there. I'm not there anymore. I'm in Canada. So I think that's the first time I'm talking to everyone from Canada, which is really cool. That's true, and I am in Calgary, in Alberta. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the courses. So probably that's the first time they're hearing about this Introduction to Unity 3D Development. We have been talking about XR courses for a long while now. But one of the things that many prospects, many students, they come to us and they say, hey, I don't know anything about Unity. I don't know exactly where to get started. So we're providing this course that is basically the first building block for Unity. We're going to go over all of the fundamentals, the main APIs in Unity. You're going to learn about what is possible to do. We're going to do that along a nice project so you can have that in your portfolio. But by the end of this course, you're going to be able to decide your path. Like if you like more about the design aspects, you can go to another course or build something around design. If you like the programming, you can go more towards the programming. If you like XR, you can go there. If you prefer something related to games, you can decide that as well. So basically what we're doing in this course is giving you a very nice overview, very introductory overview of Unity, but you're gonna know what is possible to do there and what are the good next steps for you. So this is a 8 weeks long course. We're gonna start with the essentials of Unity, then we're gonna go a little bit on physics. And in this project or in this course, you're gonna be learning how to build a bowling game. So a bowling game from the beginning to the end, encompassing the UI, the interfaces, the physics for the ball to hit the pins and logic to detect if it's a strike. So all of those kind of things, they're gonna guide you through the main aspects of Unity. And another good thing is that in the end, you're gonna be prepared for the first level of certifications that Unity offers, which is the user level. So we're gonna help you prepare there and give you all of the information about the exam, the objectives. We have some mock tests that we're gonna provide as well. So if you feel like going for the user level certification, After this 8 weeks course, you can go straight there and get certified. But that's basically it. So this is a very, very intro to Unity, and it's like our starting point. If you don't know exactly where to start, we have live and online instructors. Our instructors are Unity certified, so they know a lot about Unity, and they can help you to achieve your goals there. And I think that's it. All right, so the next stream that we have, which is the XR development with Unity. If you already decide that you want to learn XR, AR, and VR, this is an intro to that specific topic or branch of the Unity development. So David, you should explain which certification you were mentioning here. Yeah, this is the user level certification. I think I did mention that. So for the intro, the previous course, the certification assigned with that is the user level. So that's basically the first tier of Unity certifications. Does it make sense? He's typing. I'm gonna check him in a while. So Renan asks, are these classes good if you're already comfortable with Unity? Yes, that's it. That's good as well. If you're already comfortable with Unity, maybe yeah, we can discuss in the end in the questions like how to decide. But yeah, I would say even if you're comfortable with Unity, you can learn a lot in those in all of those 3 courses. So. Coming back to this one, the XR development with Unity, this one is focused in XR development. So this is for people that want to become programmers. You're going to learn a bunch of C#, applying those concepts to AR and VR development. This is also beginner friendly. It's a little bit longer. You need to dedicate a little bit more of extra time for the projects, but it's still beginner friendly. So if you don't have lots of experience with Unity, that's also okay. We're gonna start with this intro to Unity, and then we're gonna cascade down to programming with Sharp. Then we're gonna dive into AR, VR. This project or this course is built around different projects. So you have projects to practice just the Sharp with Unity. Then when you're comfortable with that, you have a project in AR using one technology, then VR, AR using a different technology. So this is like an overview of the stack of technology that Unity offers for you to develop, to program AR and VR applications. So by the end of this course, you're gonna have also your portfolio with a couple of projects. If you complete the challenge, you can make them even more interesting than what we teach in class. So basically, we provide you with all of the content and material that you need to become a junior XR developer there. I think that's it about this one. And last but not least, the interaction design and prototyping for XR. So this one is also an intro course. So this is for beginners as well. This is also using Unity, but it's a little bit different from the previous course when it's focused on the programming aspect. So in the previous course, we're going to learn how to develop the applications, how to make the ideas become something finished with code. This one is focused on the design aspects. So we're going to guide you through the best practices, the prototyping tools, how to test ideas, what is the difference between AR and VR, so you can like identify if you have a problem. Say, for example, you're working for a company, they want to have training. Is it best to create this training in VR or in AR? What are the limitations? What is the audience? So it starts with this comprehensive guide to the design aspects, like how to identify the problem, how to solve that problem with XR, how to test different approaches, and then find which one is the more appropriate there. And then we're gonna dive a little bit into Unity as well, but in this time, not how to program with C#, but actually how to prototype, like how to use the Unity creative tools, such as the XR interaction toolkits, the Pro Builder, to block out levels, to create animations, so you can convey your ideas. So in the end, you're going to be able to create prototypes, test them with the end users, and then make design decisions on what is the best way to solve a specific problem using AR or VR, XR in general. So that's basically it. They just shared a really nice article there on how to choose in between those. It might be a little bit difficult in the beginning, but you can go there in that guide or ask questions in the end. But just summarizing, one is focused on the programming aspect, how to, and the other one is focused on the design aspects, why and what. So it's basically like coming up with the ideas and testing them, making sure you have the best one. And then in the development course, someone's going to learn how to implement that and to make that real. We have lots of collaborations with the students. We have a buddy system. So if you want to go further with your idea in the interaction design and prototyping course, you can find someone that is taking the development course to implement and vice versa. So if you want challenge to develop in the programming course, you can have someone working on the prototypes and the ideas on the other course as well. So it's really interesting how the community works together in those cases. And for all of those free courses, you have access to our Slack channel. So you're gonna have private channels with your class, but you also have access to the entire community, so you can share ideas, get feedback. You have access to the instructors. So it's a ecosystem of these courses. Even though they're different, they all work together and culminate in your learning there. So I think that's it for the three courses. Hope that was useful. That makes sense.
Perfect, Jerry. Yeah, I'll expand on a little bit as well later on, but thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
All right. If you have any questions, just post them on the questions tab. I'm gonna get back in the end and answer.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Sounds good. Yeah, get out of here, Jerry. Booting you off the stage. No, Jerry will be back for the Q&A. A wealth of knowledge, obviously, so we're excited to bring him back on shortly. To shed more light on what it takes to build XR skills, I'll now invite Kim Alban on stage. So Kim, if you are there, hop on anytime. Be great. Kim is a current Circuit Stream student of the Interaction Design and Prototyping for XR course, and she will be graduating this November. So awesome. Welcome, Kim, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm sure our audience would love to learn more about you. Would you mind sharing a brief kind of introduction?
Absolutely. So I am a product designer, but I'm basically multidisciplinary. I have a long history in the arts, and my first degree is in photography. My bachelor's degree is in media design, whatever you want to call that. It's a mixed degree. But from that, I get to make a lot of web-based designs and apps. But I've always had a growing interest with tech and just like being able to merge these mediums and what could come from that. So it's been great from my perspective, seeing industries changed over the years and this new technology being capable of a lot more than I was previously aware of, at least.
Okay, great. Much appreciated. So, so Kim, how did you get started with XR and what really sparked your interest in the first place?
So being that I just shared a little bit about my background, in my first degree in photography, I took pictures and stuff like that, but I was always trying to alter my images first instead of going to Photoshop. So what I would do is I would color in my lenses. There's like an extra lens that you can add onto your camera and have control that way. And I was like, that would be awesome if one day we could be able to have that. This was a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you when. But at that time, I wasn't aware of technology of just like filters. So when I saw Spark AR come out around maybe 2019, I then was pretty interested in it, but some of the tutorials were really hard to digest. So I kept my eye on it, really kept reading about it here and there. And over the course of a few years, started seeing more tutorials explain it just a bit better, touched base with people in the community. One of my peers was actually working within VR, and I ran like a ton of questions by her, like, where do I get started? And she was like, first, pick a reality. She showed her deck that she goes on and presents with companies as a designer, like, hey, this is new technologies that maybe we can incorporate within the brand, the product overall, really assessing like the constraints of the technology and such. And so I found that fascinating, and I did some homework and I really started making like small projects within like filters and reality kit, what is it? Reality Composer, Adobe Aero, and things like that at first before committing to Circuit Stream at least.
Yeah, fair enough. So would you say, given that question, like pick a reality, would you say AR is the focus, or have you kind of branched out from that point?
For me, I was able to branch out, but it's harder because being a designer, a lot of us will often have Macs. If you started on Sketch, Sketch was a Mac only kind of software. So I was stuck with that, and I really wanted to build off from there. So that's the first thing that I found easiest for me. And I find that this is just the general advice that I give: use what you have. Like, don't go all out if you don't know, if you try it out and then realize, I don't like this. So use the tools that you have at first. I did get my own Oculus later on, and I found that really exciting. But then I'm holding the brakes on really purchasing a PC for now. But it doesn't stop me, or shouldn't stop anyone, from at least learning Unity and getting familiar with that, because that could still be done.
Yeah, very good points. You gotta kind of work with what you got to begin with, and don't want to maybe overcommit or anything like that. Can you share with us some of the challenging parts of your journey, as well as what has been rewarding about your overall journey so far?
Yeah. Overall, the hardest part is finding a source of truth. Every hardware has their own guidelines and their own details to take note of. So honestly, that's the hardest thing. I looked at Oculus guidelines, I looked at Vive guidelines, and I was looking for design principles, and all these things are just scattered all over the internet. So when I was facing that problem, what I did was I created a Notion hub to have everything there. It started off for myself, but then over the time I was like, you know what, let me share this for anyone else that might be interested in looking at this stuff and starting from there. So I would say that's the hardest part, but what came from it was just being able to relate to a lot of other people that were having the same problem, and had a lot of questions of just like, how do I go from being a 2D designer to thinking about 3D, and like, what is that? So kind of like demystifying the process a little bit by the content that I was making was helpful for me to like, not install, but just like solidify whatever it was that I was learning.
Yeah, fair enough. So like with this kind of technology, like there are so many different ways of approaching it. There's so many different, elements involved. So being able to kind of compile a best practices and then going on and sharing that is very significant. And I'm sure many people would like to see that. But awesome. So how would you describe your learning experience so far with Circuit Stream as your interaction design course?
Yeah, I think it was just like, I needed, for one, to have something to hold me accountable. I can read to death and look forever and compile all the resources, but at the end of the day, if you're not a good self-learner, self-teacher, you're going to have a hard time just committing to one thing. So in keeping myself honest, that's when I took the course. And what I found was just a syllabus. I found structure. And that's what I really, really wanted for myself. And that's the type of learner that I know that I am. And all of the teachers have been really amazing. Some of them, Aletha specifically, I read some of her stuff before realizing that she was going to be an instructor. So I was super excited. Terrell is amazing with Unity and just C# and shaders. And he's just the excitement there that the instructors bring to the course is what makes me excited, and really solidifies whatever it is that I'm learning. But also they take the time to ask, hey, I'll stick around for like 5 minutes or so if anyone has questions. please let me know. So I think that's very important for anywhere that you want to take a course at. And then the mentorship is like an added bonus. So it's been a great experience overall, and it's been exciting to have some of the questions that I've had along the way since starting just answered.
Yeah, that structure is so important. Even just like when I was trying to start, with Unity, it was all, self-directed. Whatever I could, I was kind of scraping the internet, combing the internet for any information I could find. But it can be misleading in a way if you don't have that kind of structure showing you, well, this is best practice, and then work from there. This is the ideal kind of process or workflow.
Exactly. And then Unity updates. So whatever tutorial you saw, it doesn't matter anymore. It won't work the same way.
Yeah, exactly. So that can be frustrating too. But yeah, very good point. And Tyrell is I think the shader king here at Circuit Stream. He's brilliant with those. Awesome. So now that you've once you graduate from your XR interaction course, interaction design, how will you look to utilize those skills going forward?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And along the way, since I've just been sharing my journey and stuff, it's been really exciting having people reach out either for, to learn from or like get help and ask general questions, but also just small asks for like, hey, would you mind working on this filter for me? Or would you mind working on or considering a project with me? Or just like these small just like invitations to work with other people since starting and since really putting my content out there in general and opening the conversation up has been an invitation. So I think what could come after is having a little bit more time to work with some of these potential clients that have been just sitting on the side, at least for now.
Yeah, so you get to work finally, get it implemented, some of the things that you're learning.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Kim. So it's always a pleasure chatting, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. I think we're going to be able to get to the Q&A in a reasonable time. So I know your hard cutoff is 4, but we definitely want to see if we can have you around for a few questions before that deadline.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, it's a great school. I find that term weird, but it is a school. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, awesome. Well, I'll bring you back on for the Q&A segment, but just before then, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of a recap on our course offerings here at Circuit Stream. So we will see you again very shortly, Kim.
All right, see you then.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. So again, there is no experience required for any of our flagship courses, either the Intro to Unity or either of our 10-week XR specific courses. They are all beginner friendly. So fear not, if you have no previous experience, they are very much entry level. The only requirements are that you have hardware that is capable of running Unity. And for the XR courses, ideally you have a device you can use to test out or run applications and experiences on, but again, not a requirement. Now, all of our programs are platform agnostic. So they're designed to provide you with the ability to launch applications on a multitude of devices, whether you prefer headsets like the Oculus Quest 2 or mobile devices like the Android or iPhone. Now, personally, my favorite part about the education we provide has to be our Circuit Stream community. It's a great place to network, collaborate, or participate in events like game jams. It's also where the enduring support for students and alumni resides. So we have open office hours 5 times a week with our instructors that are available to existing students and all of our alumni, anyone who's graduated a course. This is great for continued learning, troubleshooting, as well as project support. And also a massive shout out to Lucy, our student experience coordinator, who is also mixing things up regularly in there with coffee hours, showcases, and events like Demo Day, where our students are invited to share their personal projects and stories. Now, to echo Jerry's breakdown from earlier, all of our flagship courses are live, instructor-led curriculums and have plenty of avenues for enduring support for both students and alumni. Our Introduction to Unity Development is a beginner-friendly course that has you concentrating on Unity's fundamental systems, processes, and best practices for development. Throughout the 8 weeks, you are applying what you learn to build a culmination project. Similarly to our XR programs, this course is delivered twice a week, is considered part-time, and each live session is an hour and a half in duration. You gain lifetime access to our community, receive a Circuit Stream badge of completion, and receive a Unity user certification. The course is $2,500 US, and the next cohort is beginning November 29th. Our XR Development with Unity course is also a live instructor-led curriculum that is project and portfolio-driven learning experience supplemented with opportunities to acquire an XR industry-specific certification as well as a Unity certification. You'll leave the course with up to 8 portfolio projects and hands-on experience with augmented and virtual reality development. The course is priced at $39.50 US, and the next upcoming cohort is beginning on November 30th. Now, both of our beginner-friendly XR courses are structured very similarly. So with our interaction design and prototyping course, you can expect the same project-driven, live instructor-led format, complete with its own certification path for designers. Like the previous 2 courses, you will also have lifetime access to the supportive community, as well as all your class recordings for convenient viewing at any time. So every session is recorded and made available to you for lifetime access. Also wanted to share just a simple visual to give you an idea of the certification path for each of these beginner-friendly courses. The Introduction to Unity Development course will reward you with a certificate of course completion and an earned Unity user certification. XR Dev with Unity will help you achieve Circuit Stream's XR Developer certification and put you on track to complete the Associate Programmer certification through Unity. Whereas Interaction Design will help you achieve Circuit Stream's XR Designer certification and put you on track to complete the Associate Artist certification through Unity. Now, nothing says I'm an authority on the subject matter quite like multiple certifications and a portfolio to suit. Now, anyone who is more advanced may be looking to add structure and external support to a capstone project, anything along those lines. Definitely take a look at our one-on-one mentorship and support packages as well. And another quick note about our beginner-friendly XR courses is we have the standalone option, which comes with the course, as well as a Unity certification exam. We're also currently offering a Plus package, which includes either of our 10-week courses and the Unity exam, but also our C# scripting fundamentals course, an Oculus Quest 2 device, and 10 hours of dedicated one-on-one time with an instructor, which we recommend using for project support or further mentorship on XR concepts. Now, all of our students can apply a payment plan to any of our packages as well. So we have 3, 6, and 12-month options to help manage that cost over time. And today we have a special announcement. So for the next 10 students who enroll in any of our flagship courses, being Introduction to Unity 3D Development, Interaction Design and Prototyping for XR, or XR Development with Unity, you'll receive 10% off the course tuition, as well as a free technical orientation session with an instructor. So this session will help new students optimize their hardware, software, and overall learning experience prior to beginning the course. So this offer applies to any of our XR starter packs, as well as the Starter Pack Plus packages, and would result in a savings of nearly $500. So if you'd like to chat more in depth about your Unity or XR education goals, or perhaps learn more about Circuit Stream and any of our course offerings, go ahead and contact our admissions team. Roham, Leanne, Tyler, Christina, or myself would be happy to connect and have a conversation about finding your best approach. If you're interested in checking out any of our course outlines or syllabi, or interested in getting enrolled, you can visit our site at circuitstream.com/learning. And we will send you the syllabus or contact you regarding any applications. Lastly, I wanted to thank you all very much for joining us today. Special thank you to Kim and Jerry for sharing their time and insights with us. And at this point, I'd like to kick off the Q&A. So if Kim and Jerry are around, have you hop back on stage. Looks like we have some great questions, so excited to hear your answers to them.
Hello, I think I'm back.
Welcome back, Jerry and Kim. Awesome. Okay, so we will we'll sort by votes here. So first question. Can you tell me more about the teachers? How many students per teacher? Is it one same teacher for the whole course or several teachers? Can teachers mentor us or give a reference when we're looking for a job?
All right. So I think I can answer that from a structure perspective. And if Kim wants to add about her own experience with instructors, that would be good too. So how many students per teacher? It really depends on the cohort, but we try to have a small size classes so everyone has a chance to ask questions and everything. So usually the maximum is around 15. It's never a lot more than that, but it really varies a little bit. If it's one teacher or multiple teachers in the same course, it depends on the course. So for most of them, it's only one teacher from the beginning to the end. In the design course, sometimes it's a little bit different. Right now, for example, we have Alita, which is an XR expert, XR design expert that teaches the beginning of the course. And then we have a Unity expert that teaches the second half of the course. So it really depends on the curriculum and on the, we try to provide the best experience with the best teacher. So it can change during the course, but usually for most of the courses, it's only one. Regarding if the teachers can mentor, give reference and everything, definitely. So there are two ways it can happen. The first one is if you have the plus package, you're gonna have 10 sessions one-on-one with one of our experts that you can choose based on their availability. So you can just say, for example, hey, there is Nikisa that is there on the chat. She is an expert in mixed reality with Microsoft Holland. So if you want to learn about that, you can just go there, find her availability and talk to her for that 1 hour. Or if you want to learn about shaders, you can go to Tyrell, and basically you have that one-on-one mentorship. If you're not with the plus pack, you're just like making the course, we still have the community and we have office hours every day. So they're a little bit different. They're based on first come, first serve. So if you go there, there are more students we can discuss, but you can definitely ask for the instructors on their perspective about the marketing, about jobs. I know that we have a couple of instructors that have been helping people to prepare for interviews, for example. So that's a possibility. We have many different ways for you to get access to advice from our instructors there.
And then I just wanted to add, if there's anything afterwards, I mean, just from my perspective, the instructors have been very, very thoughtful. I mean, I have been successful in reaching out to them after class through LinkedIn also, and continuing the conversation there if I had any other questions.
Perfect. Thank you. I've also just posted our admissions team calendar link in the chat. If anyone's interested in learning a little bit more, feel free to connect. You can choose a convenient time for yourself on there. But we'll get back to the questions here. Any past graduate portfolios we could mention or perhaps share?
There are a couple of them. From the top of my head, I don't have any links. One that maybe if someone in the chat there can help me. I'm not sure if Lucy is there or if Dayan has that. But Andrew, for example, one of our graduates, he just finished an online portfolio with many different videos and examples there. So if I don't find you right now, we can follow up with an email in there. There are a couple of them. I just don't have them right now. Maybe someone's gonna post them. If not, we can just send them later. There we go. There we go. So they just post simple search on YouTube. That's gonna show you a couple of them. Oh, the demo days. Yeah, that's another cool thing. We have periodic demo days where the students can show what they're doing and discuss their results in there. So most of them are public. I think all of them are public now. So stay tuned to the LinkedIn and you're gonna see when the next one is, and then you can go there and see what the students are building and talk to them and ask questions there. There you go. Thanks, Brendan. Brendan found the one I was mentioning.
Yeah, yeah. I went to Andrew's site. It's very cool. So if you have a chance, definitely get check that out. Okay, perfect. Next question is from Justin. Is it possible to find work after the course with no previous experience? Do you help with work placement, etc.?
That's a good question, and that's not easy to answer. We have many students that found jobs after they took the course, so that's definitely a possibility. I would say that the intro course, just with the intro course, that might be a little bit more complex. But if you take, for example, the intro course plus one specialization in XR, you're gonna have a strong portfolio. So you definitely can show the employers that you know what you're doing. Of course, it requires hard work on your end to polish your projects, to apply the skills that you're learning. But many of our students, they are able to do so. So I would say so, but I would say yes, definitely based on the past experience with other students. But you need to work on your way there, and we can definitely help. Regarding the work placement, we for those courses at this point we still don't have like a career services. This is something that is coming soon with a different course, so just stay tuned and we're going to have more news about that.
Yeah, something that is that's in the pipe, and we get asked about this all the time. We have a lot of students who are going into almost like solo development. Some are bringing these skills back into their existing organization, and others are looking to make a career switch or enter this industry. So hard to keep tabs on. Something that we definitely want to learn a little bit more about, so that we can kind of flow that information forward to our students. But great question, Justin. Appreciate it. Next question is from Hussein. What are some of the industry job requirements for, say, a junior XR designer? Good question.
I think I'll let that one for Kim.
Any insights, Kim?
I think it's really depends on what you're aiming for, like startup versus corporate. And this, maybe bigger companies in general may have more structured outlines or teams that have more defined roles in general, versus like starting off freelance. And maybe you could just be the person that designs the experience and creates a strategy there. And then you reach out to some other developers. Indie developers are huge, especially on Twitter. They're working on tons of projects themselves. They could probably use help. So I think it's leveraging what you know and utilizing particular outlets like social media to look for that if you wanted to start from a junior perspective, versus like, and that could be your scrappy beginning versus like going straight into a company that may have solid roles. But if you're looking for a specific role within some of these companies, I would just check out some of the job postings that they have. They have a good outline in general. Most of the times they're asking for you to know Unity or Unreal, how to create 3D assets. Really depends on what you want to do there in general.
Yeah, great point. And we make our curriculum very deliberate to be project oriented. So that comes as it's kind of in twofold. So that's a great way of learning as you do, as well as we want to have our students exit our programs with something to show for it, a portfolio to display their expertise. So that coupled with the certification tracks is definitely going to be appealing to employers, given that XR has been around a long time, but it's also as an industry still in its infancy. So it's not so cut and dry with what your requirements are entering this field. But if you do have the portfolio built up, if you have your kind of display of knowledge, that's always going to help your case. So that's something that we definitely wanted to include. Great question, Hussein. Next question is from Mark. How difficult will this be if a student has no prior experience with coding or C#?
That's a good question, and that's asked every time. So this is regarding it's gonna vary depending on the course. So if it is for the design, you don't need C# whatsoever. We don't even teach C# there. Of course, C Sharp always helps. So if you want to be able to do more things, maybe you want to learn a little bit. If you're interested in the development track, I would say it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for everyone. Like learning a new programming language is not easy, and it takes time. So you're going to need to practice. It's like learning a new language. Like if you have never learned Korean and you want to start right now, it's going to be hard in the beginning. But when you start to get the grasp of it, you're gonna be more and more proficient. So it's always hard, but the good thing is it's hard for everyone. It's not only for you. So there's no other way to go around that. And we have the office hours, we have extra material, we have the instructors are there to support you. So it's gonna be hard, but we're gonna be there with you. So if you decide to go with the XR development community, which is 10 weeks, it's heavy on code. It's not going to be easy in the beginning, but it's not impossible. Like everyone, we have many cases of students that didn't know anything about C Sharp in the beginning. They were struggling a lot, and right now they can build like amazing things. So that's the nature of the thing, of the field. It's hard in nature, but we try to make it as simple as we can and provide with as much support as we can as well. But if I say it's gonna be easy, I'm gonna be lying. So it's never easy for anyone to start with programming.
Yeah, definitely tricky. Actually, I was curious to know, Kim, are you familiar with C Sharp? Do you practice this regularly?
Hell no, I was not familiar with C Sharp, but I took the smaller short course as like the bundle package there. In all, yes, it was difficult, but I think that the instructors and the people were there were very supportive in showing you the way. Also, C Sharp is very forgiving. In Visual Studio Code, you have like hints of like, hey, this looks wrong, so maybe you could substitute this for this. And so that is helpful. But like anything, I think that you have to take the extra time to get familiar with some of the basic concepts even after the class is over in general, just to help, especially if you have no experience with coding in general. Yeah, so that's my overall take.
Yeah, thank you very much. And great question, Mark. Another one from Hussein. As an early VR adapter with over 1,000 hours in VR, would you say this course is more AR oriented or VR? Not sure which way I may want to lean in towards yet. So are you referring to the interaction design or the XR development? And I'm not even sure that matters. Jerry, you want to?
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter. I think, again, I'm going to answer from a structure perspective, and if Kim wants to add based on her personal experience. The thing is, we have examples of AR and VR, but in the development course, most of the skills, they are the same. So if you know how to get around in 3D, you can basically develop AR and VR. So we teach, now I'm talking about the XR development. We teach the fundamentals of Unity, of C Sharp, of 3D development, and then we have examples in AR and VR, and the techniques are a little bit different, but the course is very mixed. So we transition from AR to VR, and so on and so forth. In the end, you are able to use skills that you learned in the basis to create either AR or VR. Of course, there are specific things, specific techniques, and we go over them. So I would say it's half and a half. Like the things that are specific, they're in half and a half. Regarding the design, the basis, again, it's similar. So the best practice, of course, there are variations for AR and VR. For example, in VR, you might have like motion sickness, so you need to account for that. You have something on your face, so you need to think about some things. Whether in AR, you're maybe holding a device, so it's a little bit different. Of course, there are differences in there, but the techniques and the process is the same. So identifying your problem, prototyping, creating concepts of ideas and showing that to people, testing that with people, that's basically across the board. And we do have examples in VR and in AR. So we teach you how to prototype in VR and AR, and the supporting structure around it, it is the same. So what I usually say is people that take both courses, they're gonna know how to do both. They're gonna know the pros and cons of both. because like 90% is the same thing. You just have like different techniques, but they are on top of the whole thing. So just like summarizing the answer, it's mixed. It's very mixed because it's not like AR is one thing and VR is completely different.
Right.
There's a lot of intersections there.
Yeah, and just to jump on that, the common denominator is Unity and 3D, and the differences are going to be where is it going to output, like what's the device and what's the general experience, things to think about there. But the biggest beast is Unity or Unreal, whichever one you're choosing there, and in general. But that is the biggest thing to learn, and that's why so much time is spent going over like the fundamentals of Unity and things to look out for and things to download per project or consideration in your experience.
Beautiful. So another one from Hossein. Any programs you recommend getting ourselves familiar with prior to this course? Unity being the big beast, as Kim just mentioned. Yeah.
Unity has a great learning path for designers, for developers. On their site, it's free. They have a lot of just walkthroughs there, and because you're going to open the program and you're just going to be like, I want to get out of here. I don't know what this means. If you're not familiar with Unity or just that area in general, 3D space, 3D software. So I would highly suggest starting off with the Unity learning paths that they have there. They have a few, and just getting the general feel of what the software is like.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kim. I want to do a quick time check. I think you have something soon. So how's your timing?
I have to go. I'm terribly sorry, but thank you so much for having me here. I hope I was able to answer some questions at least. And yeah, if anything, I hope some of I think they were shared the YouTube channel, can reach out to me at any time. I'm more than happy to answer any other questions. And yeah, but thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the time, and everyone definitely go check out Kim's YouTube channel. Very insightful and very much XR design oriented. So if you're wanting to learn more, she's a great resource.
Thanks, and I will talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Kim. Take care.
Bye. Thanks, Kim.
Okay, so a few more questions. What's your timing like, Jerry?
Let me check. Yeah, I still have 30 minutes, so
30.
I think we can finish at least the outstanding questions there.
Okay, perfect. So the next one is from Hiram. Is it recommended to learn about computer graphics and game development to better understand and apply VR, AR?
Yeah, so it's not a requirement. That's why we say the course is beginner friendly, but knowledge is never enough. So if you know if you know a lot about computer graphics, you know a lot about game development, when you jump into AR, you just need to learn like the small differences and how to apply everything that you already know. So someone that comes with that background is definitely gonna learn a lot faster. It's gonna be a lot easier. So yeah, it definitely helps, but it's not required. Like you can start directly into AR and VR. A couple of concepts are gonna be a little bit more fuzzy, so you're gonna take more time to get there. So every knowledge that you have previous to learning XR, VR, AR in general, it's gonna help you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I also think that would give you like a slight leg up, just going into this with regards to the overall development process. So definitely doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Next question is from Celine. After learning C# with this course, do you only know C# for Unity development, or are you capable of doing other C# development in the industry?
That's a good question. So C# is C#. Once you learn C# with Unity, you can apply that to other fields, to other industries as well. One of the things that you're not going to learn in this course is like web services development or like back-end development with C#, so which is a possibility. So you're going to need to learn like specific frameworks within C#, but the language itself is the same. So once you learn C Sharp for Unity, you can apply that to other industries as well. Maybe you're gonna need to learn one framework or the other, depending on your use case. But C Sharp is C Sharp. Unity has a little bit of things that they add there that are seem a little bit magic. Like usually, one thing that I usually see is when someone learns C Sharp, pure C Sharp, like without Unity, when they go to Unity, they're a little bit confusing because Unity makes some black magic there, some weird stuff. The other way around, it's a little bit more smooth. Like if you know C Sharp from Unity, when you go to C Sharp outside of Unity, it's like, okay, yeah, it's very similar. So again, just summarizing, the language is the same. You're gonna be able to navigate any C Sharp code. Maybe if you are working something very specific, such as back-end development or web page development, you're gonna need to learn one or the other framework, but the language itself is it's the same.
Yeah, so using
So
C
that
Sharp,
helps.
using C Sharp in Unity is almost like Unity's providing you with a little more context, and then you're still using kind of and applying the same kind of language. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair to say.
Okay. Okay, beautiful. Great question. Next question is from Luis. How many different roles are there for the XR AR career?
Lots of them. I think you had a slide with just a couple in the beginning, if I'm not wrong. I think
Yeah,
I've
here,
seen that.
let me find that quickly.
All right, but there are many of them. You can be XR designer, developer, product designer in XR, 3D artist, AR engineer, VR engineer. They give it many names. There you go.
Yeah,
So
so this
simulations engineer.
this is not an exhaustive list either. These are kind of the more, I guess, mainstream roles or positions. But yeah, you can also kind of have a little bit of creative liberty, I think, if you're wanting to get into this industry.
Yeah.
There's tons of roles that have yet to be kind of introduced. So um, these are just kind of the main roles, I would say, or the more popular. But yeah, there's even more out there.
Yeah, Dayan also shared a really nice article there that outlines different jobs and the pay scale for them. So it's worthwhile giving that a look as well.
Okay, great. So so next question is from Mohammed. Why too expensive?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say it's expensive. It's a lot of hours, a lot of effort. You have like 24 support, 24/7 support. You have like expert instructors. There are Unity certified instructors. You have office hours. You have one-on-one. You have Oculus Quest. You have voucher for certification. So if you just like make the math, you're gonna see it's not expensive. It's basically like a lot of value in just 10 weeks. So it is worth it. I would say it's cheap. Like it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny we hear kind of both sides of it, right? We've had students come from other courses or other programs saying that this is like immense value compared to what they've seen. We also have people who maybe are less familiar with the scene, and obviously tuition is something that is a barrier for some folks. So certainly that's why we added the payment plans as well. We want this to be as accessible as possible. So certainly check those out if those are something that's going to help you kind of overcome that barrier. Next question is from Celine. Do you need to use an Android device if you have the Oculus Quest 2? Which Android device is required?
Cool, that's a good question. So, well, you don't need to, but you're gonna make the most of it if you do have an Android device or an iOS device, because the Oculus Quest is for VR, and we also cover AR in the course. So we have two projects that are in mobile AR that it's better tested in a device, like in an Android or iOS device. So you don't need to. You can follow along and everything, but if you have the device, it's a little bit better. So the Quest is for AR, and the Android device. Oh, I'm sorry. the Quest is for VR, and the Android device, we use that for AR. And which one is required? Any device that supports AR Core. So there's a list of AR Core supported devices that I always share, and I can get it here real quick and post that on the chat. So you can see there are many devices that support AR Core. Almost every single device that was built after 2016, they usually support this. So that's a recommendation. If you don't have one, that's not the end of the world, but it definitely helps you to experience what you're building when you're talking about AR.
That is exactly what I was just going to mention. It's not a requirement. You can actually test out any builds in Unity's interface, but super helpful if you can kind of get those working on a device as well and troubleshoot and really get a good feel.
That's actually half true, because depending on the capabilities, like what you're doing in AR, it's not possible to test on the Unity editor, which is a pain. So you need to build a couple of things you need to build, because it depends. It relies a lot on the capabilities of the device. For example, a depth camera, gyroscope, accelerometer, the specific sensors that exist in the device, and you cannot emulate that, at least not in an easy way in Unity. There are a couple of alternatives. There are a couple of plugins out there that simulate this. Unity is working on something for a long while that was never out, but at some point maybe it's going to change a bit. But right now, to have the full experience, depending on your application in AR, you need to build that to the device.
I stand corrected, and thank you for correcting me on that.
No worries.
Also, a very good question. Question from Uko. Uko, good to see you out here. Can you do the C# with the design course?
Yeah, that's not a requirement. That's not needed, but many people do that. Like if you go with the bundle, you're gonna get the Oculus Quest, but you're gonna also get the C# course. So yes, it definitely helps. So if you're not interested, that's what I usually say. If you're not interested in C#, you just wanna prototype in Unity, that's fine. You're gonna learn a lot, but there are a couple of limitations that you can only overcome with code. So if you know the basics of C#, that's definitely a possibility. Kim, that was just here with us, she took both courses together. Oh, not together. She took first the Sharp and then the XR design, and that works pretty well. So it's not a requirement, it's not a prerequisite, but if you want to do both, that's a good combo. It's gonna expand your skill set by a lot.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt. And if you're going to be using Unity on a regular basis, also super helpful for down the road. Another question from Uko. Great questions. What type of jobs can you get with the third course? So I think he's referring to the interaction design, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, you can get an XR designer. I have been seeing like Snap and Facebook posting XR prototyper, which is something really new, but it's someone that knows the concept but also knows Unity. So usually it's gonna lean towards project design, XR design. XR research is something that's coming up there. So it's toward that end. Dayan shared a link earlier. There we go. Oh, not that one. That says about which one to choose, and it talks about the roles. Even there's even a couple of examples there. So maybe if Dayan can post that one again, or I can try to find that. But it leans towards XR design. There we go. Thanks, Dayan. You're gonna see a couple of examples there, like real examples that exist. They're open jobs.
Excellent. Okay, so we have another one from Hiram. Does Unity make it practical or easy to apply animation to your projects, or is it better to learn animating from another program such as Maya?
That's a good question. So, and in the design course, we do teach lots of the basics of animation in Unity. You can build any kind of animation in Unity. It's nice. The tools are there. What I usually recommend is if it's a complex animation, for example, character animation that you need controllers, it's usually better to do that on Maya because it was built for that. So Unity, it allows you to animate, but there are a couple of limitations because it's a game engine. It's not an animation software. So you can do a lot in Unity. So if you have like simple animations that do not deal with joints, with controllers, with bones, usually you can do those in Unity. If you need more complex animations, then Unity starts to become a little bit limited, and you might want to learn Maya or 2DS or Cinema 4D or any of those others. So we don't teach those 3D development, those 3D modeling animation softwares in the curriculum. We focus on Unity. So you're going to learn the basics of animation in Unity, and it's really powerful. It's just that for very, very complex things, sometimes it's a little bit limited, but it's possible to do a lot there.
Okay, great. So next question is from Luis again. How many projects do you have altogether in the course? Maybe break that down for each course.
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the course. So for the intro to Unity, it's only one. It's a very polished, nice project that you built from the beginning to the end. But considering it's an intro course, it's only one. In the XR development with Unity, it's I think 7 projects, 6 or 7 projects. It's a little bit more there. And in the XR design, it's 3 projects, if I'm not mistaken, probably 3. And you can also build your personal project, especially if you have the plus package with the mentorship. So usually the students that have the one-on-ones, they work on their own project. So they come up with an idea, they break that idea down with the instructor, then they create a plan for that and they build it together. So you can work on your own project aside from the course curriculum projects. But it varies a little bit from course to course, depending on the curriculum, the structure, the learning outcomes that we have there.
Yeah, we get a lot of student feedback saying that the one-on-ones are like their favorite part of the course, and that's because they're so open-ended. If you have an idea coming into the course and you've got that mentorship package, you can really feel free to use that time to really pursue your own idea. Versus, the curriculum is going to be very structured on purpose, and there's going to be prescribed projects that you build. The one-on-ones are awesome though. So if you're interested in checking out those mentorship packages, certainly connect with someone on the admissions team. Thank you, Luis. Another one. Do we get mentors during the course to give advice or tips?
Yeah, so if you go with the plus pack, you have 10 sessions. So you can, for example, I have one per week if you prefer. The schedule is flexible. Of course, it depends on the availability of the instructor, but you can book with them 10 sessions throughout the course and give any type of tips, advice in there. Other than that, we also have the public office hours that you can just drop in and ask for advice or questions you might have too. So yes, there are different alternatives for that.
Perfect. And I think that concludes our Q&A. Is there any other questions we have last minute here? Uko, Hiram, anytime. Thank you guys for coming out. And I think that's about it. So I think that wraps up the October open house. Jerry, thank you again so much for your time. I know you're a busy guy, so always super helpful when we can have your insights available to us. Thank you everyone for joining us, and Dayon, thank you for all those links in the chat as well. We will be running another open house, I believe, closer to the end of November. But stay tuned, and goodbye for now.
Bye. Thanks for having me. Bye, guys. Talk to you.
Bye, everybody.